Hi, it's Kay here. I have to admit, I wasn't sure whether to actually make this video or not, because by making it, it would mean that I'd have to admit a few things about me that was a little bit embarrassing, but I've received a massive wake-up call recently in terms of my health, and I just thought that it's actually really important to get the message out there that you know, you need to start looking after your body now, because you don't really know what's kind of going on underneath. And you know, on paper, I seem like quite a healthy person. You know, I'm young. You know, I eat lots of fruit and veg. I'm a healthy weight for my height. You know, I do lots of exercise. I don't smoke. But as I said, I've had a bit of a kind of wake-up call in regards to my health. And you know, I'm just looking back over the years, and I just think, you know, what if I'd kind of looked after myself a little bit better? You know, would I be in the situation that I'm in now? So, you know, I'll kind of start off, you know, with how it all kind of started, and that was probably about 5 years ago when I started having sleeping problems. And because I wasn't sleeping properly, you know, it meant that I was knackered all the time. And, you know, I have irritable bowel syndrome, and which is, you know, a lot better now, to be honest, than it was at the time. But coffee used to be one of my big triggers, so I didn't have coffee. So even though I was really tired, I couldn't kind of turn to coffee like most people would. So instead I turned to food. Now, I've always had a really big appetite, and I've had a massive sweet tooth for as long as I can remember. But this kind of, you know, needing the food was, you know, not like anything I'd kind of experienced before. And you know, it was just battling massive cravings for, you know, sweet starchy foods like all the time. And to be perfectly honest with you, I just kind of gave in to them. So you know, I wanted the food and I was eating the food, and I kind of ate and ate and ate. And you know, because I didn't want to kind of put weight on, I did, you know, go to the gym quite a lot. But to be fair, I didn't really realise how much weight I'd put on until I joined a new gym and kind of did the whole, you know, new induction process, and you know, got on the scales and realised that I'd put on like about 1.5 stones in a year. And you know, I was absolutely horrified, and you know, I'm only 5'2", so you know, looking back, I'm not quite sure how I didn't realise that I'd put on that much weight. But you know, I just hadn't, and you know, so I was absolutely disgusted. And you know, when I looked down and realised my belly was huge, and I just thought, right, I've got to lose weight right now. So you know, I kind of went on this bit of a drastic, you know, kind of, I don't know, diet, I guess you might want to call it, where I just ate really healthy food. So you know, I was eating just fruit and vegetables, you know, lean protein, you know, the kind of complex carbs. But I wasn't eating that much of it, and then I'd go off and, you know, go to the gym for like 2 hours. And, you know, after a few days, as you can imagine, I still wasn't sleeping well, so I was exhausted, I was starving, and, you know, I was still getting these cravings, you know, for the kind of sweets all the time. So, and then I kind of gave in, and that was when my binging kind of started. And, you know, these binge days would actually start, it could be any time in the day, but as soon as I'd had like a little bit of something sweet, so it could be like a bit of chocolate or a bit of cake or something like that, and something would go off in my head and think, you know, I've been bad now, so I might as well just be really bad for the rest of the day. So I would literally binge and binge and binge. And, you know, my friends all thought it was quite funny how much I, you know, used to eat and, you know, kind of didn't really put on weight. But they didn't really see what I did when there was no one else around. And I said, this is the kind of bit that I'm a little bit kind of embarrassed about, because, you know, I knew at the time as well that it was bad, because I'd only do this when I was on my own. And, you know, why else would I do that if it was a kind of normal thing to do? So, you know, when I say I'd binge, I'm talking about, you know, buying like a whole family-sized dessert and I would eat the whole thing. You know, buying a whole loaf of bread and I would eat the whole thing. Or I would make pasta for about 5 people with like a really rich creamy sauce, and I would eat the whole thing. And, you know, one time I was, you know, I'd not normally get to the point where I was kind of uncomfortable, but actually one time I just got myself so full up that I was actually in pain. And I remember sitting there at home on my own, and I was thinking, I need to be sick. I'm actually in so much pain that I actually went to the toilet, tried to make myself sick, I just couldn't do it. I mean, I don't know what I was doing wrong, but I just couldn't do it. And you know, and that's, to be honest, that's the only kind of time that that's happened, but you know, that's pretty bad to get yourself in that situation. And you know, it's not like I just suddenly went, oh, I'm in pain. You know, I knew I was getting full, but I just didn't stop eating. And then, but you know, these days would then have to be evened out by like a good day, and you know, that would again consist of, you know, what I kind of said at the, you know, what I did at the beginning. So eating only really healthy food and, you know, going to the gym for like hours on end. And you know, that started off this massive cycle where I'd have a couple of good days and a couple of bad days, a couple of good days, a couple of bad days. And you know, that's basically been my life for the last kind of, you know, good few years now. And you know, all this time I really wanted to get healthy. Like, so, you know, that's what I wanted. You know, I didn't want to be doing what I was doing. So you know, so I was looking up, you know, with nutritionists, you know, what you should be doing. You know, so I kind of learnt a lot about superfoods, and you know, I was spending quite a lot of money, you know, buying like these superfoods, you know, like goji berries and wheatgrass and spirulina and things like that, and then spending loads of money on fruit and veg, which all costs quite a lot of money, and then going and spending a whole load of money on junk food. So it was quite an expensive lifestyle, and even though I never kind of went to, you know, using diet pills, I did try a lot of supposedly appetite suppressing supplements, and you know, I also went to the gym, spoke to personal trainers, you know, found out about the best ways to lose weight quickly, and you know, that's the kind of exercise I was doing. So I was only really doing kind of, you know, high impact stuff, circuit training, you know, weights, intervals, you know, all that kind of stuff that's meant to you know, carry on with the fat burning, you know, after you finish exercise as well. But you know, when you're binging for kind of 3 to 5 days out of the week, obviously none of that, you know, makes any difference. So as I said, you know, I've been living on this cycle of, you know, going from one extreme to the other, which obviously isn't very good for your body. And to be honest, it's only really recently, you know, kind of in this year, that I've started actually looking into health and, you know, what food can actually do for you, and the fact that food can, you know, like prevent diseases, and it can even like cure some diseases as well, you know, just by getting the right nutrition. So I've started kind of trying to focus my focus onto, you know, looking at actual health and, you know, what food is doing, you know, to your body. You know, before I look at what I'm eating, I now try and think, you know, what is this going to offer me, you know, in a nutritious sense, as opposed to, is this going to make me lose weight quickly? And, you know, it's not been easy, and it's not been a quick thing, but it's definitely getting there. And as I said, over the last, you know, few months, I think my diet has now gone probably more 80–85% now being healthy. I'm not saying I'll still never have these kind of binge urges, and I still do occasionally kind of give into them, but you know, I've got a lot better, and as I said, it's just become a lot easier when I actually start thinking about the health and, you know, what it's doing to my body. But as I said, a couple of weeks ago, I found out that I've been suffering with adrenal fatigue. Which I'll talk about in a bit more detail in another video, another time. But you know, that's what's been causing my kind of, you know, sleep problems and, you know, and my fatigue. And I know it's basically it's caused by your adrenal glands, which produce the hormone cortisol, and cortisol is used to kind of fight stress in your body. So this could be emotional stress, it could be, you know, you're having an argument with someone, but it could also be physical as well. So, you know, it could be, you know, with obviously the food that you're eating, and also, you know, if you're doing really hard, strenuous exercise, and it's actually quite stressful in your body. And if you're kind of, you know, moderately stressed all the time, then your adrenal glands are working all the time, and, you know, after a while they get tired. And if left untreated, you could get to a point where you can't even get out of bed properly, and it could turn into adrenal failure as well, which, you know, as the name suggests, once it's failed, and, you know, you can't kind of go back. So, you know, I'm really lucky that I found out about this now, so that I could actually do something about it and kind of, you know, reverse what's happened. But, you know, when I look back over the years as to, you know, to how I was living, I just think, you know, what was I doing? And, you know, the stress that I put on my body is just unbelievable. And, you know, for what? You know, for nothing really, because I was never even overweight. You know, I kind of was very close to it, but, you know, I was always at a healthy weight. It was just, you know, the image that I had of myself. And so as I said, you know, I wanted to make this video because I just wanted to get out there the importance of, you know, looking after your body for health reasons, you know, not just necessarily because you want to look like someone in a magazine. And, you know, and I know that it kind of influences everyone all the time. But I just thought that if I could even, you know, just inspire one person to make, you know, a kind of good, healthy, make a difference in their lives and for health, then you know, it'd all be kind of worth it. So, you know, obviously if you've got any questions or anything like that, then please feel free to contact me. But otherwise, I will see you soon, and so bye.